Welcome to lesson 8, which is transforming with SQL functions. Okay, so I'm going to talk little slow today because I'll be talking little slow, but we will be covering more. Okay, and today we will also see some of the sequels of join, where we will be using join in the example, so that we will cover lesson 7 some sample queries also. So with that, we are right now here, lesson 8, transforming with SQL functions. We are going to see a whole lot of bunch of functions, string, date, logical, mathematical, system functions. And today we are going to primarily cover SQL functions, expressions, and logical. And then as usual, we will have the quiz. So since it's already last 2 days, we didn't have the session. I just wanted to spend some time on the recap. And there are a few more new people as well. Case study. Right now we have taken a case study right from day one, and we are going to use this case study for the entire 15 days course to understand. We completed data modeling, we completed designing tables, and we also started slowly building the dequal statement with select, where class, like statements, and then we also learned order by, group by, and we also then slowly extended to multiple table with the joins. So right now, the technique wise we are using, we are keep applying and to address the business questions. But ultimately, the SQL or any programming language, right, software should address the business question. So in this case, a chain of restaurant wants to build an application, right? So that is the whole business use case where we are trying to capture the customers, orders, and then master item is nothing but the menu card, right? Let me admit someone. Okay, so that's what that is the use case that we are working on. So ultimately, the SQL should help us to find most ordered items, frequently visiting customers who visits more than 3 times a week, right? Ordered by items together, time of the day analysis, the day of the analysis. I think we are going to see time of the day analysis, day of the analysis today. And restaurant wise, customer wise, day wise, we are going to see the breakup. So without wasting much time, today we are going to address these 5 questions. Okay, so today at the end of the transforming with SQL, we are going to solve these business questions using SQL. Okay, with that said, this is going to be the exhaustive list of the SQL functions that we are going to see today. And we have already seen aggregate functions, right? So these aggregate functions will be used in conjunction with group by. Okay, so count big in case if the count is going to be an extremely huge volume. And then some we have seen minimum, maximum, average, right, and standard deviation. So these kind of aggregate functions we have seen that we can use it, and I'm not going to spend time on that. And then today we are going to see the system of the system important system functions. Get date is a system function which will help you to get the current date. Okay, current date. I'm going to share the SQL, so you are going to see. So here you see. Okay, so don't look into the other aspects. So select select function. If you see, select date, universal time date. Okay, system date. So these are the 3 functions which you will be using. Get date will give you the current date. Okay, and then this is the universal time. So universal time is the actual GMT time. So ours is 7:20 right now, 87, sorry, 87, and there it is 2:37, right? So it gives you that time in case if you needed to store the date. Let's say when this is needed, when let's say actual transaction is happening, IRCTC, right? In the ticket, if you see, they show the ticket booked time. So for that, it has to be the current date, right? When they actually book the transaction. For every transaction, you need to also store what time the transaction happened or what time the event occurred. So that is when you will be using get date. Get date is very commonly used function. And get UTC date in case if you want the corresponding GMT time. But you can always get from this date, right? As long as you know the time zone. Okay, and then system date. So system date is no also a date. I think one of the date provides the client date, one provides the server date. since these two are the same, because my local machine is nothing but the server, right? So my client and server both are the same. In case if your server connecting to a server which is in a different time zone, then it will show a different time zone. Okay. Otherwise, some of the functions are like you can find a server name. So there are certain attet is a function. You can use no. Let's leave this. It will be confusing. If you want to find out the version, which SQL version that you have installed, so you can easily find out using the attet version. It will clearly tell you, okay, this is built on Windows 10, and this is the SQL Server 2019, right? And 15.0.2095 will give you the exact the build, latest build, and all the information that you will be able to find. Okay, then system date, we have seen these three. Is null, we have already seen, right? So basically it will tell you whether the returned value is a null or not. Okay, similarly, is numeric is another function. Is numeric, for example, is null, right? So we have seen, I will explain again. So if the first value is null, then it will return the second value. That is what is null will do, right? That we have seen already. Sorry. So is null, if the first parameter value is null, it will return the second parameter value. If the first parameter value is not a normal value, then it will return the first value itself. Okay. Okay, so let me show you how we can use it in a table. Our menu card has item contains, right, value. So I will show you the item star comma. Okay, so that you all can see. So the menu table, the item table is nothing but our menu table, right? So I'm also trying to see if null, then show no item details for one of the column, right? So this is how we can give our table column as a parameter to these system functions. So the item contains, I intentionally updated null for all the records except that one column where this is for combo, right? Item, dosa, coffee. So for all other columns, I just updated null just to show how we can use the is null function. And we can also give a user friendly name. So if it is null, then show this value. Okay, so that's how we can show. And then the next function that we are going to see is the isNumeric. IsNumeric, is it a numeric or is it a non-numeric value? This is mainly for error validation. If I give 1.0, then it will say isNumeric will return 1. But if you give some text, some non-numeric value, then it will give 0. Okay, so this is basically for error exception handling. And host name we have seen, right? And print versus selector. So here in SQL we have mainly we use select, right? So we can also use print. Okay, so host name will also give me my machine name, client name. Okay, server name, we have seen at server name, right? This is server name. Server name is also my machine I've installed. Client is also host name is nothing but the client name. Okay, so my machine desktop or laptop is also the same name. So now I'm going to show you the difference between select and print. Select means this is an output, it will show us an output, whereas print means it's more of a message. So it comes in the message, you see, it comes in the message tab, it doesn't come in the output tab. That's the difference between select and print. This is an interview question. Sometimes people might ask you, what is the difference between select and print? You see, select comes as a result, message, print will come in the message. Okay, with that I'm going to the string function. Okay, and with that ASCII and character, I think you guys know. I will talk about the important, because ASCII will give return the corresponding character number, right? 65 for A and 97 for small a. For any this thing, or care of 67, if you put, you will get C, right? Because it is converting from character to ASCII. And now we are going to see concat. Concat is more of a concatenation, string concatenation. String concatenation. String concatenation can be done in two ways. One is you can simply put plus sign. SQL will automatically identify, knows that these two are two different strings, and it will do string concatenation. Otherwise, the proper way, right way of doing string concatenation is concatenation of two values that you can do. Here I have done recursive concatenation. So first I want to give a space, right? So that's why I've done. Otherwise, what I can do, if I want to do it in a single this thing, I can do Ravi, then space Shankar. So now both will give the same result. So there are two ways of adding strings. One is you just put a plus sign, right? So, but the only issue is if you give plus sign and one more plus sign, let's say, and if you give, let's say, some number, and let's see if SQL works or it throws error message. You see, it throws error message because it is trying to add a number with a string. So that's why sometimes the SQL might throw out error. So it's always better to use concat. Okay, and then we are going to see ltrim rtrim is going to remove in case if there is any prefix space or after space, and then lower upper is more of a converting lowercase or uppercase. Reverse, it's all now obvious with the name itself. Reverse, it's going to completely reverse the name string that you give. Replace, it's going to replace a part of string in a text. I'm going to show you example. Len is going to show you the length, provide you the length, okay, of the string. Left right is you can take a portion of a string. So I'm going to show you example so that you understand rather than going through each and every. So now item name, you know, right, it is in camel case, right? So now I'll show you the item name also so that you understand. Item name comma item type. Okay, so item name you see coffee, it's all camel case, right? So now you see I can show it in a all small case, and I can show you all uppercase. So sometimes they may ask you, right, to show it in uppercase, all in uppercase, then you can use upper function. Sometimes they, if they ask you all in lowercase, you can show it in lowercase. And again item name, I'm showing it in reverse. Item name, it is going to show it in reverse. As well as I'm going to show it meal means I will replace with 4-star. Wherever meal appears, I'm going to replace with stars. Okay, so for example, I want to hide, let's say if it is a password. So in that kind of scenario, you can use this. I'm just going to show you privacy, right? So in this case, it doesn't make sense, but just for example, understand. So you see coffee means, you know, it is written completely reverse name. It is reversing a string. And coffee doesn't have meal. So if you see South Indian meals, it is showing 4 stars. Okay, so that is a replace function. So it finds meal and then it replaces the thing, find and replace. And len is more of a length. Okay, len means length of the thing. For example, so we have an item with 3 length 3. T means 3 I think. T means 3 characters. There are some menu item which 18 maximum, but average is 10. Okay, so you understand, right? So without that also you can find out a length. Okay, let me put it here so that we will find one more this thing, length. For each item name you can find out the length. You see coffee means 6 length, and tea means 3. So like that we can find the length of the string. And then we can also apply length left. Left is from the left side. From the left side it will get you 2 characters, co e ma. So like that it will get you the left portion of a string in case if you want to get no the number of characters starting from left. Starting from right, if you want to get 10 characters, let's say from the left side. You see, if with the biryani, you will see. You see, it started from with I, then it goes in the reverse side, and it gets you the 10 characters starting from the rightmost. Okay, so and then this one, the substring is the most important string function. It will get you the middle. So it's starting from the third position. It will get you the 4 characters. Third position to fourth character. So for example, coffee, F is the third, right? F, F, E. So it started 3 and it gets you the 4. So T, if you see, it's only 3. So it started with 3 and just gave you only 1. So whatever is available. For example, Margarita, it started with R, then it ends with R. Okay, so like that. So these functions are extremely useful for you to do a lot of string manipulation. Okay, which is very much needed in your data manipulation. Okay, so without wasting much time, I'm going to go to next one. Okay, I'm going to go to the string function. Okay, so I'm going to go to date function. I might skip guys because we need to solve the business questions also. Date functions. Okay. Okay, date function is, so we have data, right? For example, in our case there are two dates. One is order date, second is restaurant open date. So two dates we have in our case state. So using that, what all we can find using date function? We have a date, right? So we can find out what is a day, what is a month, what is a year it belongs to, and also we can find out what is a week it belongs to, what is a weekday name, whether it is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we can do a whole lot of calculation. We can also find a date difference between two dates. It will give you what is your age. If you give your date of birth and if you give get date, you know, right? It's today's date. If you give these two, then you will find out, you will get the actual date, your age. So for all age calculation you can use date diff. Okay, so date diff you can use for finding age or difference between a particular day and another day. And third is date add. Date add is, let's say, if today's date, if I add 15 months, what is the end date that I will get? This function you can use it for example, in a bank fixed deposit. If you choose 15 months FD, then they will give you the maturity date, right? So for that we can use date add. For those kind of scenarios we can use. There are other end of the month date it will give. Let's find out those examples. Okay, so I'm going to go here. So now you are going to understand. So restaurant has a open date, right? So restaurant has a open date. So I'm going to you give that as an input to explicitly get what is the year, what is the month, and date. I can separately take it out using the day, month, and year operation, year function. Sorry, it's not operation, it's a function. Okay, and also if I give any date as an input, right, I can do lot with the parameter. If I need the week, let's say today is 29th, right? Let me change 29th. Okay, 29th, which week it belongs to? It belongs to 40th week of this year. So this year there are weeks, right? You guys know every this is 1 week, 2 week, right? From beginning we are having week, right? So if I follow the week numbering from January 1st, today belongs to 40th week. There are 52 weeks in a year, right? Because I've given ww as a parameter. If I give, let's say, day dd, then it will give me the date it belongs to. It is 29th day of the month. Okay, and if I give, let's say, if I give, let's say, month then it will give me September. You say date name. Date name will give you the word in words. If it is this thing, for example, September it is giving. Okay, September this is giving. Similarly, if I want to give year YY, then it will give me 2022. The same date part, if I give month, then it will not give September, it will give 09. That's the difference between date part and date name. Date name will give in a words. If no you, if it is a month means September, it will give, this is will give 09. Similarly, day, let's say day means what, both will give. I think both might give the same day. Let's see. Okay, 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 date is different. Yeah, both are giving the same day means the same. Okay, whereas if I give weekday, let's say something called weekday. Okay, so let me return weekday. So if I return weekday, so today is Thursday, right? Which is nothing but fifth day of the week. So week part gives the number in number. Week name will give you describing for month and weekday. Okay, so that's the difference between week name and week part. You guys understood? Okay, so now I'm not only this is, you know, you can even give hard code the date and give as a parameter, or you can just use this function to get that. For example, if you want to find out, okay, when this restaurant opened, so we have 4 records. This restaurant opened on a January month, and this is nothing but 4th week. You see, 25th is the 4th week of the year. and this is April, and this is 16th week of the year. So like that you will find the difference. Okay, because I've given a date name, this gives in January, February, this is give 1/4. Okay, so date diff. So how can I find difference between two dates? So if I want to find out difference, right, from January 1st to today till today, today date is 09/29. Okay, so this will give you how many days this year. I think not weeks, the year, date DD. The date means if I what difference I need difference in days, difference in year, difference in months, like that we can request. Different in days, if I see today is 27 days, 271 days today from January 1st. Okay, so if I ask difference in days, difference in weeks, if I say 39, it will return because there are 39 weeks completed. If I want, let's say, month wise, then it gives month wise, it will say 8 months or over the 9 months, right? Ninth month is running on. So similarly, date if if I give, maybe if you give your your birthday, and if you give here get date, you will get the your year today. Okay, your year also you will get. For example, how we should use get date is today date till today. Let's say if I want to give somebody born in 1980. Okay, so then this will be the age. I should give year YY. I will get 42. So he is here, she is 42 years old. Okay. So now the same thing I can use to find the age of the restaurant. Age of the restaurant in days. If I need my years, I think the year is the best thing. So if I find out the year in of the restaurant is 42 years, 22 years, 20 years, like that it will give. Okay. So now I think we have seen pretty much everything. Date add. Okay. Something that I wanted to show you is the date add. Date add is I can add number of days. Date add is I can add 5 days to today. Let's say today is 29th, right? So if I want to add 5 days to from today, this will give me October 4th. Okay, so if I want to add, let's say 5 months from today, then it will give you February 28th is the 5 months. Okay, so like that we can. So if I want to subtract, if I want to go back five days, what should I do? I should give -5. That's the only difference. That's why we don't have date subtract. We only have date add, which is add, addition or subtraction into give. So if I subtract 5 days, it goes to September 24th. Okay, so now you guys understand how I can use all these functions. Okay, date functions, I think pretty much all important things I've completed. Is date similarly, if you based on the whether the given value is it a valid date or not, it will tell you. You can use this. That's the last thing. So I'm skipping date from parts. Okay, so I'm going to just give you this. Let's say I've wrongly typed today is 29, right? Let's say if I give valid date, it will return 1. If I give invalid date, let's say the format I missed to put hyphen, it will give 0 because it is false. Similarly, if I return 31, because there is no 31 for this month, if I give, it will give 0. So you can use this function to do any error validation. Okay, so with that I'm moving on to mathematical function. So this is pretty much everyone knows. Absolute value. So even if you give negative number, it will give positive number. Ceiling is will give you the upper number, upper whole number. Floor is the lowest immediate lower full number. Round, it will do rounding off. Rand is a random number, it will generate for all your this thing lottery. If you're building any sports, no, or any random now you can generate it. Generates number between 0 to 1, 0 to 1, some 0.001, like I will show you. Square root or square. Briefly I'm going to show you without explaining because they are not that much important. So absolute -2 and absolute 2 will return you 2. Okay, because whole number. Ceiling of 23.7 will return 24. Floor of 23.1 will return 23. Okay, and this I will skip. No, let's not. Okay, let's not worry. This might be confusing. Random. So I told you random will return you 0 to 1, right? So now random into 6 if I do, I think it gives you some number. Okay, random alone I will show you what it generates. So keep executing random, so it will return huge decimal number between 0 to 1. You can use this for your random number logic generation. Square root of 4 is 2, square of 4 is 16. Okay, so with that mathematical function is done. Type conversion. So we can, so these cast and convert are the functions which you can use to convert. For example, even 3 is I am giving as a string, but I want to convert this into integer so that I can multiply with 5. Right, without that, if I, let's say, do 3 into 5, let's see whether SQL does. Let's have 3 into 5. SQL will do. This is called implicit conversion. Implicitly, SQL will try to convert this into integer to see whether this operation can be performed. If I give, let's say, 3t, then SQL will throw error message. Okay, so that's the main difference, implicit conversion. But explicitly, if you want to convert, the cast is the function. For example, 3 is a whole number, right? But I want to convert this into 3.00. What I can do, I can convert this into decimal data type. You see, when I execute, you'll get 3.00. This is what is the functionality of cast. Cast also can be converted into, for example, big huge number to 2 decimal. I am converting. You see, 3.48 instead of whole big number. Convert is also similar thing, but only convert is also similar thing. Yeah, 3.00. Okay, so 3.00 I can do. But there is a difference between convert and cast, which we will not go to now, understand now, because it is slightly complex to explain. Let me take one just 10 seconds break. Okay, so next statement that we are going to see is a case statement. Case statement is a multiple case. For a value, based on a value, we can control the flow. For example, it is like a inline conditional statement. This is also called inline conditional statement. So it's a kind of if-else statement, right? If you guys have used any other programming language, you would have used if-else condition, right? You control based on the condition. It goes to the appropriate flow. Similarly, in case statement, based on the value it satisfies, it return that value. Let's say if I will show you with an example, then if the condition satisfied, it will return that, or it will check if this condition satisfied, it will return that value, or finally if none of the conditions satisfied, it will return this output value, else condition. Okay, so how case statement can be used? This is how we can use. Okay, so how we can use, let's say I am, what I'm doing, I'm just populating a flag. Okay, so what I'm doing, that flag, if the item type is beverage, I'm setting the value to 1. Let's say, just for understanding, if that value is tiffin, I'm setting the value to 2. If the value is meal, then I'm setting the value to 3. Okay, so let's see only those values, item name comma item type. Okay, then we'll see how it works. Flag. So you can see the flag sets accordingly. Beverage means 1, main course 0, meal 3, because everything else is 0. So based on multiple condition, the case statement is when. So when this case item type matches this value, then set the value to 1. Matches the value to tiffin, then set the value to 2. So like that it will work. So this is one based on one column if you want to give. But if you want to give based on multiple column, if it is a beverage and item rate is greater than 50, then only one, right? And then if it is a tiffin, only if the item rate is greater than 50, if you want to set the value. Let's see. Based on two columns, if you want to give, then you don't need to mention it as in case. So case, just leave it empty. In the when condition, you just directly specify both the condition. Okay, so based on this condition and this condition, whatever condition that you have, and or condition, whatever we put it in where condition, right? Similar logic, whatever that you need, and that multiple condition, you apply it and then you set the value, right? This is a case statement. You will get familiarized, don't worry about it. So now what I'm doing is, the only difference between this and this is, here it is based on one condition, one value. Okay, one column, one value. So you can write it this way. If it is a multiple or complex logic, you can always write the condition in the when condition. Okay, so you don't need to. So now let's see. Item should be beverage and greater than 50. Tiffin and greater than 50. Then only it will set the value. So for tiffin, you see idli, it is not setting the value because it is 35. For dosa, it is setting the value. Okay, so that's the difference. So it is based on item rate as well as item type. I hope you guys clearly understood the case statement. So we have seen both the scenario, right? It's inside the when condition and this thing. So now case statement. So this case statement can also be used inside aggregate function. Okay. So for example, we have seen count, right? Count of 1. So inside the count also I can count only if some condition satisfies. Beverage count, right? For example, we put count star, right? So if you guys remember, we so far we put count star. Count star, when I say, it will give me the item count, total item count. Okay. So now from the menu card, what I'm doing, I am getting item count completely. Then I'm getting beverage count. I'm getting meal count. So like that, I can put them into a separate column also. So this is also the case statement can also be used for classification. Okay, moving them into a separate column. So I hope you guys understand. There are totally 16 items, 2 beverage items, 6 meal items. How I can do that? So inside count, I can put a case statement. Count only if item type is beverage. How I can do? I'm showing value with a value of 1. Okay. Otherwise, I'm setting a value of null. You guys, I hope you guys remember. Count doesn't count null. So that's what I'm setting. If it is non-beverage, then I'm setting it to null explicitly to skip that. I'm only count with a valid value. You don't need to put 1. You can put any value here. It doesn't matter actually. You can put a true. For example, you can put true. Right? With this value also it will work. Right? For any value it will work. You say 2 and 6 will work. Okay. So the other value should be null, should be made null, so that it is not counted. Okay, so with that, now I'm going to coalesce. Coalesce function is similar to is null. So I'm going to show you a bunch of statements. Okay, is null we have seen, right? If the first value is null, it will show you, it will get you the second value. But it only accepts 2 parameters. It doesn't accept third parameter. Okay. Whereas coalesce will see if the first value is null, second value. If second value is also null, then third value. Third value is also null, then fourth value. So that is the difference between is null and coalesce. You see, coalesce even works multiple parameter. So that's a big difference. This is a interview question. You guys should be aware. Is null. What is the difference between is null and coalesce? Because both handles kind of is null, but is null only accepts 2 parameter, whereas coalesce accept infinite, basically any number of. It will return the first not null value. Coalesce will return the first not null value. And null if is another function. Null if is another function which will return null if both the value matches. You see, these two values are not matching, right? Then it will return the first value. Null if will return the first parameter value if these two are not matching. But if these two are matching, then it matching. Yeah, if these two values are matching, it will return null. That is the functionality of null if. Okay, so sorry. So now you guys understood null if also. I'm moving on to the one last. Okay, if function. If function similar to if condition, I think I don't need to explain. If this condition satisfy, then true value it will return. If this function doesn't return, false. If this doesn't satisfy, it will go to the false condition. Okay, I'm going to briefly show you if condition. Yeah, if the item rate is greater than 20, so here this is the if condition I've written. Okay, so Tiffin. Okay, so let's see first with one condition, right? Otherwise it will be confusing for you. You guys are learning for the first time. And then if it is Tiffin, then I will return. If it is Tiffin, then I will return T. Else I will return E. Just for this example, okay. Okay, why? Okay, I have not closed. Okay. So now we are going to see simple if condition, right? So if it is going to return T only for Tiffin. For everything else, it is returning. It's mainly true or false. If this condition satisfies, the true. True means no, whatever value that you give, and this condition. So that's how you can manage. So here I've depicted. You can have recursive. One if else condition, then within that we can put one more condition, like that you can handle, like in Excel. Okay, finally we have something called choose statement. This is the last statement of today. Choose statement. Choose statement, you can tell which out of these three, for these set of values, which value it has to choose. So if I give 3, then it will show developer. If I give 1, it will give manager. Okay, so now, so how I can show, based on the rate per, I'm going to choose between item type or item name. Okay, so rate per is sometimes 1 or 2, right? So let's see, you will understand. So in case of idli, right, it is showing idli, whereas in case of dosa, it is showing dosa, because Tiffin and the idli is the input value I gave. So because the rate per is 2, it is choosing the second value. Because rate per is 1 here, it is choosing Tiffin for dosa. Okay, so that's what you guys choose is, based on the first value, I want to decide whether this value or this value to be shown. Okay, so this is the choose value. I think I'll show it here so that you guys understand. I think it has to be here, then you will understand it better. So now the order I've changed. Now you guys can understand. So now the choose function works like this. This is the first parameter, second parameter, third parameter. Based on the first parameter, it will choose whether you want to show this value or this value. So it is showing second value of the list. So for dosa, it is showing first value, right? Don't worry why I chose rate per all these things. This is just for explanation. So in case if I give a value which is beyond the limit, then it will show null. So in case of Puri, if you see, it is showing, it is only passing 2 value, but it is asking to display third value. Because there is no third value, it is showing null. Okay. With that, I hope you guys understood. Now we are going to solve these 5 business questions before we end today. So we have time. We are on time. So list the restaurant with the years of service. So I'm going to open up the lessons. So I've written lessons for you guys. So this is what I'm going to share after the thing. Okay, so the first business question is, list the restaurant along with its year of service. So what we need to do, we need to add date if, right? Date if, and then number of years I need. That's why I'm giving capital YY or small YY, doesn't matter. Or I think I can give year also. Let's try with all. And then open date is what I should give, and get date is the current date, today's date. And I'm giving a user friendly name, years of service. So now let's see. I think you see this is grayed out, which means it is not connected. This particular tab is not connected to the server. I need to again establish the connection. Okay, and then again I need to change it to restaurant DB. Okay, so now I need to execute. In execute, I get these 4 restaurants, and they're opened year 42 years, 1980, 42 years, 2022 years, 2020 years, and this is this year, 0 year. Okay, it will show the completed years. Okay, so now whether you give year or YY, it will work. Okay, or 4Ys also it will work. Okay, so it will work all these values. Okay, so now you guys know how to answer the first business question. Okay, so that is done. And now we are going to see the second business question. I think I have the business question here. We can just go through one by one. We don't need to even go to the PPT. Okay, so the second business question is, list the biryani items which are not yet ordered in any order, and show its only first word. For example, for chicken biryani, you just show only chicken. For mutton biryani, you show only mutton. So how this can be done? Okay, first I will go step by step. I think it will be confusing, guys. Don't worry. Now I'm going to explain one by one. First, we need to show list the biryanis which are not yet ordered. So now I'm going to go and explain the join function, because yesterday last class we couldn't see the join function properly, right? Because of the connectivity issue. First I'm going to show you, then we will address the second part of the question. First part of the question is, list the biryani items which are not yet ordered. So instead of this thing, I will write a new query for you guys, so that is easy for you guys to understand. Select star from item, menu item, where, don't link it to the second query, okay. So, where item name, how we can find out all biryani items, like biryani, okay. So this is what we learned in the first class to get the, I don't know why, okay, this select class, okay, let me remove the select class, okay. So now this is going to return all 4 biryanis, okay. So now the question is, return only those biryani which are not yet ordered, okay. Not yet ordered means the biryani should not be present in order item table, right. So I will go with alias. Now I go with left join. So why I'm going with left join? It should be present in menu item, it should not be present in order item, okay. So you guys now understand, the my basis is based on the left side table is very I'm going to rely on menu, okay. So on I dot item id is equal to oi dot item id is a id. So now the question is, it should not be present in the order item table, right. So what if it is not present when I use the left join, when record does not exist on the right side table, what value it will return? It will return a null value. So that is what I need. I need null values on the right side table, so that it only presents in the left side table, it is not available in the right side table. So for that I need to write any column from the right side table, right. So let me use the alias I dot, okay. Here oi dot, oi dot any column, for example anything, let's say item id, right. Id is null, okay. So the record does not present in the right side table. So if I select, okay, so let me select, you see I will get mutton biryani, veg biryani, chicken veg biryani, because chicken biryani there is an order, okay. So only these 3 biryanis there is no order, you see on the right side there is no order. So this answers the first part of the question. You guys now understand clearly. So I've written explicitly because this is the first time we are seeing join, right. So I've written that for you. So this is what I have written in this below query, okay. So now the below query, I think removed that second the thing. So you see exactly the same, okay. So I'm removing that. So now we are going to answer the second part. What they are asking, show only the first word. They are asking you to show only the first word. So how we can take the first word alone, okay. So I'm going to show you. So for taking the first word, I will first explain. This is important. I think many times we use substring. Okay, I think looks like it's not here. Okay, so I'm going to write it, no problem. So what we are going to do, we are going to say item name, right. Item name, they want only first part. So substring item name, comma 1 comma, let's say if you put 6 character, let's say, let me see whether it is showing, just to try. So what is it is returning? It is returning mutton HB veg B, because it is not truly, because we have used 6 as a hard coding, right. But instead of hard coding the number, what I need, we need exactly the end of the first word, mutton. So egg means 3, it should come, veg means 3 should come, right. So we have some a function called char index. First let's understand how I can do it. So char index is a function in SQL item name which will return, okay, which will return the first starting position of a this thing. For example, space, right. So the difference between, so there is a space, right. For example, between words is a space. So I'm passing that space as the matching record. And what it will do is, it will go and search in that item name. It will return the starting position of the this particular word. So now we will see. When you see the result, you will understand. So for mutton biryani, 7th character is space. For egg biryani, 4th character space. You see 4 value. Veg biryani, 4th value is the space. So now what we are going to do? We are going to give this as an input to the substring. Right? If I give this as a substring, input to the substrings, number of characters, third parameter. If you remember, we gave 6. Instead of giving 6, I am giving this value. Now let's see. You see, now I am getting mutton, egg, veg. So now this serves our purpose. So now you have fully answered our question. Okay. So 2 questions are answered. We are going to the third question. So this is a pretty straightforward question. Let me slow down my voice and show all menu items with item type plus item name. So what I'm doing is I'm doing concatenation. So the concatenation is more of a recursive, because I need to concatenate 3, right? Because I need to give one more this thing separator between item type. So what I'm doing is I'm concatenating item, then one more concatenated item as a second parameter. So this is the second. I'm concatenating space tilde space, so that now we know when we concatenate generally we use, right? And I'm also showing you how the same thing can be used with plus sign. And then what they are asking item rate closest to nearest 100. So how you can do closest to nearest is 100. So when you say a round of positive number, then it will do in decimal. But when you say in minus, it will do the whole number round. That you guys are aware, right? So in case if you are not aware, I will show you first. I will explain that first to you with a hard coded number. Okay. Select, let's say 123. Okay. 0.35. So now when I do a rounding off with positive number and negative number, we'll see rounding what will do, what will happen. So I will do it -1 so that you guys first understand -1, then we will positive one. Okay, now what I'm doing 123.35 comma 1, 123.35 comma -1. When I give the input value to rounding off, the positive one will do here actually the decimals. It will do rounding off to the decimal first one digit, whereas -1 will round off the 10 because the whole number, right? From 123 it rounded off to 120. Okay, that's what we'll do. If I could do -2, then rounding off to 100 it will do. So you see it will rounded off to 123 becomes 100. 123.35 is the 35 because the second decimal it is doing. So I hope you know this. With that, the question we are going to answer, the item rate I'm going to do -2 because rounding off to nearest 100. So now we are seeing the result Tiffin tilde idly. This is using concat function. Okay, so using the plus sign also we can do concatenation. And then third is item rate rounding off to nearest 100, because idli is only 35 rupees, it is rounding off to 0, because anything below 50 it will rounding off to 0. Anything above 50 it will show 100. So that is what has happened idli and dosa. So if you see now we have bucketized the thing. So using rounding function we can also bucketize. This is only 3 buckets, right? 0, 100, 200, 300, 4 buckets. So now that is also done. Now I'm going to show you, go to the fourth business question. Okay, so we have 8 more minutes to finish. So the question is, list the total items sold by hour of the day and weekday of the month, weekday of the weekday, sorry, of the week. So now using the depart, you see date part, right? So when I give HH, I think I forgot to explain the hour part. Now I will go back here. I think I forgot to tell you that using date part and date name, we can also get not just weekday and month and this thing. We can also get hour, or I can get minute. Also I can get. So for example, HH if I give, it will give you hour, 14 hours. You see, this is a 14 hours. If I give minutes, it gives 6 minutes. So not only date name will also give you even seconds part, hours parts, minutes part. Now using that, I'm going to address the fourth question, hour of the day. So what time the business happened, right? Hour of the day. So what I'm doing HH. So which will give you the order hour. So I'm using join. So what I'm doing, item table and header table I'm joining, because header table has the date, item table has the item amount, right? That's why I need a inner join. You see, I'm going for a inner join. Inner is a optional, so I'm going for a join. And because I'm selecting, I'm grouping, and then I have to put the select in the group by, right? So I'm putting the same number here. So if I do that, I will get you 7 o'clock time range. Between 7 to 8 the business, between 8 to 9 the business, between 12 o'clock noon time this is the business has happened. This is 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. This is evening, 7 o'clock business. So like that, every hour wise you are aggregating the data. So this is very much important for restaurant business to know, okay, what is the peak time for traffic also, for example, or office, what time the employees are coming maximum. So like that, for planning this is good. Also understanding your business from a 24-hour scale. Okay, so you can use this function. And then weekday, so which day the business is happening. So I have only 2 days, but that's okay. Friday, how much total items sold. So this business question, you see, it is items sold, right? So this is I have put it item quantity. Okay, here I put item quantity. Okay, item quantity I'm just showing weekday wise. Weekday wise I'm saying weekday, this we have seen. Everything else the same, similar to the previous one. So the same data I can see on a 7-day scale how this business is happening, how my business is happening on Monday versus Tuesday versus Wednesday or weekends, so that I can plan my server capacity, like how many servers I need to have. For example, some non-veg restaurants, right, hire contract people only for Sunday, because on Sunday there will be more people will be coming, right? They don't need to pay salary for all 7 days. So for those kind of analysis, no, these kind of queries are very helpful, right? They will understand the trend. Okay, so hope you guys are able to understand. Now I'm going to the last question. Last question, this might look big, but it's a simple one using case statement. Let's first understand the business question. Business question is list the total quantity sold by breakfast, lunch, dinner category. So now we need to categorize. So how we can categorize? Using case statement. Okay, now the case statement is coming to the picture. It's very simple. Okay, so case, when date part hour. So the hour of the day is between 6 to 11. If it is 6 to 11, it is a breakfast, right? I'm classifying it as a breakfast. If it is 12 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then it is a lunch. Then if the order hour, if it is between 5 o'clock in the evening to 11 o'clock, then it is dinner. Then else, then I'm saying just untime. So just for the sake. So this I'm calling it as a meal time. Okay, then I'm putting sum of item amount, total amount, total sales. Whatever the case statement that I'm putting it here, the same thing I need to put it in the group by. So that is how SQL works. Okay, so now I'm joining the same join, inner join, everything else remains the same. So I'm going to execute. Now exactly I get for breakfast. You see, the beauty is it's not this thing. Now my user friendly classification or category wise, I'm able to see my sales. Breakfast, how much I'm getting sales. Breakfast revenue. For example, a restaurant wants to find out what is their revenue by breakfast, by dinner, by lunch. They can use this approach, right? Then it's not only this combination. For example, I'll tell you one more thing. Okay, so with that, I think today's business we have answered, but just out of curiosity, I'm just showing date wise if you want to find out. For example, I want to see weekday, but also I want to see weekday. Weekday also, I think already we saw weekday, right? So if I want to combine, right? So weekday also, if I want to combine, you just simply need to put order day, right? You can have two values. Then you will get, you can do slice and dice. Okay, so for example, if I include order day also, then I need to use it in the group by also. So now I'm not only okay, so I'm not only grouping by breakfast, lunch, dinner, but day wise also. Okay, but unfortunately so here I have only one record for the combination, otherwise it will give permutation combination. So Friday breakfast wise, lunch wise, what is that? So which day is there any pattern? Any particular day breakfast is higher than lunch. So all these kind of calculation you can do. So much we can do with a powerful SQL. So with that, I think we have only last 2 minutes to end the session. We have quiz time. So get ready, guys. So as usual, try to answer. I know today we have covered a whole lot of bunch. I need to go it in a little fast because we have to cover a lot of topic. So with that, let's see your answer. So please answer only for the first question. And when you answer saying 1A, 1B, 1C. Don't say only A, B, C D because it will be confusing whether it is for first question or second question. Answer whether it nearest integer. To find out nearest integer, what should we use? Nearest integer. Okay, so I see answer 1D, 1B. So 1D and 1B is nearest integer. I see D is the right answer, nearest integer. Because I think some people have put B because B means it will give A also will find nearest integer, but A and B is not nearest integer. Nearest, there is one more condition. Nearest but upper. Floor will always go to upper. B will always go to ceiling. So it has some additional condition. But round is the right this thing. Based on wherever it is. If it is less than 0.5, it will go to the 0. If it is above 0.5, it will go to 1. Okay, so nearest integer, when we say, it is a round function. So now, which cannot handle null? Which cannot handle null? So only one cannot handle null. I think this might be a little difficult. I think might be slightly difficult because is null can handle null. You guys know. Coalesce also you guys know it handles this thing. Null if also handles, but the only function which cannot handle null is if condition. So which accepts more than two condition? So now I think this is easy. Which accepts more than two conditions? Sorry, which cannot accept more than two condition? I think the question I kind of overlooked. Which cannot accept more than two condition? I think this you guys pretty much know. Which cannot accept more than two condition? Yes, Saknas, Murli, I think you guys have bang on. So if condition only accept two values, true or false. Whereas choose, if you remember, I can give you multiple values, set of values, then I can choose from them. Coalesce also, if you see first null value, not null, second not null, third not null, fourth not null, I can choose, I can give. Case also, I can keep on adding when condition, when condition, when condition, then and when condition. So only if condition can accept only two condition. Okay, so the question is wrong. I will recorrect it. Sorry, apologies from my side. And the fourth one, what would be the answer? Can you guess for 4? The question I will read. Date part MM 2002 12 this thing December 12/45/02. Okay, I think you guys are good. I thought some of you might get confused, but it's not a date name. It's a date part. Yes, it will return 12. Yeah, good guys. I think you guys are able to answer it correctly. With that, I think today, if you see, we have made a good progress with the transforming data. We have finished with this thing, and I think we have made this progress. We have next topic is going to be a subquery. It's going to be very interesting. In fact, the following sessions are going to be interesting sessions. We'll see how it goes. Thank you guys for joining and taking your time. I just wanted to get your feedback. Maybe today.